Yeah.
All right, before we get started, I want to just remind everybody that all of our meetings will be audio and videotaped, and they'll be shown on the Township's Ocean Community Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fisher?
Here.
Councilmember Zachara?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the coaster posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 14, 2023. I'm going to switch around a little bit. I'm going to start off with Suvit, who is going to go over his Eagle Scout project and give us an update. And for those of you that don't know Suvit came in here and presented us with what he was going to do for his Eagle Scout project, and he has to come back and give an update. So Suvit, looking forward to it. And you're on camera, so smile so that everybody can see you out there in TV land.
Hello everyone, I'm Suvit. I'm back to give you an update. So on September 14th, I had my e-waste recycling drive, and I recently just got my results back, and we collected over 8,200 pounds of electronic waste.
Wow.
So I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for all the support the town gave me, and just wanted to say thank you so much for everything.
Wow.
Suvit,
Cool.
where did you bring all that, all the electronics?
So everything, the actual drive was held at the Ocean Township pool, the parking lot.
Okay.
And Monmouth County Wire, Monmouth Computer and Wire Recycling.
Okay.
They provided the transportation for the giant crate they brought, and then they brought it to the pool and back to their facility to recycle everything.
So you did all that coordination with them
Yep.
and got it together.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there next steps that you have to do? Just promoting, I'm assuming promoting that you want people to continue this.
Yeah, I was gonna create like a thank you flyer and just give more information about how you can further recycle e-waste, and then finish up my requirements for my the actual project. But
Okay,
yeah.
so what's that going to consist of?
That's gonna consist of finishing up the workbook and getting that signed off by my troop.
Yep.
And then after I finish my Eagle Scout requirements, which I'm really, really close to,
Right.
I can go into my Eagle Scout board review and get the rank of Eagle Scout.
Oh, good. How long do you think that'll take?
Hopefully in the next 2 months.
Okay, good.
And then we'll bring them back.
Yeah, then totally bring you back for that.
All right.
Yeah, good. Let's go around the table. Rob, you got anything? Want to ask?
No, I was there. I thought it was a great job. The kids were the scouts were fantastic.
The young men?
Ton of young men. The parents were there supporting them. So and the line had a line there. So I can see why it was. I would have never guessed 8,000, but that's the thing was full, right?
Yeah.
The trailer. Yeah.
Good,
Fantastic
Suvit.
job.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Anybody else want to ask anything else, Suvit? Okay, good. Good job, man. Great. Thank you for coming in and giving us an update. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Great night. Thank you.
Next up, we have Tim Shea, our Executive Director of the Township of Ocean Sewer Authority. Come on up, Tim.
Great.
And thanks for coming in, Tim.
Oh, that was make sure I'm on the camera.
Yeah.
Anywhere near me.
They don't have that in Tosa, do they?
Somehow I got the hot seat, so I don't know what happened.
Deserve.
I tried to switch with the mayor, but he won't let me.
So thanks for inviting me here. This
Send,
is my first
Tommy over.
meeting with the council, so this is great. I started at Tosa as the executive director in November 2022, so it's been just about 2 years.
Wow.
Yep. So I'm really glad that we took this opportunity, and hopefully we do this more frequently.
Tim, where were you before you went over your
Oh boy.
A couple different spots?
Yeah, so before I came here, I worked for a contract operating company,
Right.
Veolia,
Okay.
global company based in France, but I ran their Mid-Atlantic operations.
Yep.
So I basically oversaw all of our contract operations from Buffalo to Pittsburgh to Baltimore,
Right.
and then everything to the east of that.
Cool.
Was there for about a little over 7 years.
Good deal.
Yeah. This opportunity came up. I was their engineer. I used to run the water wastewater group at T&M Associates.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was their engineer for several years back in 13, 14, 15.
Yep.
So I knew the operation, I knew people here, and when they were looking for a director, the other director was anxious to retire.
Yep.
He was having trouble finding a replacement, so I thought it'd be a great fit. So I came in and made some good management changes there.
Yep.
So we're really, we're kind of getting on a very nice even keel right now.
Yep.
We started to spend capital, which hadn't been going on for a while. Last year, we probably spent, say, about $2 million between collection and plant. But there were plans that had been in the works for a while. So, I don't know that how they were prioritized. So I brought a firm in last year and did an evaluation of our treatment plant. And we did put a 5-year plan together with priorities. Next year, as you're all well aware, we're going to be receiving a $2.5 million bond through the Monmouth County Improvement Authority. That's going to do about $2 million worth of work in the plant, and then another $500,000 in the collection system. So we're looking at the
What are we
capital
doing
investment.
in the plant? You're updating.
We have, so our grid system at the head of the plant
Right.
is very deteriorated. We're constantly replacing large mechanical pieces
Yep.
as opposed to upgrading the unit as a whole.
Yeah.
So it's more like reactive.
Yep.
Hasn't been touched in over 20 years.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing that there. We have a large engineered building that had no HVAC control in it.
Yep.
So obviously the gases corroded out all the structure inside of there. We're going to be rehabbing that facility. And then also we have a large chamber in the middle of the plant that distributes flows to the tanks, which is failing. And that's a critical, very critical piece of the operation. So we're going to be rehabbing that piece of equipment as well. So those are the 3 main projects in the plant, as well as some security upgrades throughout the plant. And then in the collection system, we're going to be addressing sewer laterals. We're working with your engineer on your paving project. When we get the streets that you're going to pave, we go out, we TV the sewer mains, and if we find where we have issues, we go ahead and address those prior to you going in and paving those roads. And then in addition, we have one last pump station that we're going to be upgrading out of our 12. And this will be the last one. They've all been upgraded now in the last 10 years. And then we turn around and start over. But that's the way.
I mean, once you do this upgrade, this $2.5 million, you think we're in pretty good shape?
There's more to do in the
Right.
plant. These were the top priority, number
Right.
1 priority projects.
Yep.
Yeah. So we identified total a little over $9 million in the plant
Yep.
over the next 5 years.
Okay. So we're spacing that out, and we're
Yep.
all right. And we're coordinating the right way. I think Greg and I have spoken about the road program and the sewers. We're
Yep.
joined,
we're
right?
working close with Greg on
Yeah.
those things. Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
We don't want to go in after.
We don't need to go in there after we pave a road and then have to go
Yeah.
dig it up with the
You know,
sewer.
we know how
Yeah.
great that is to the residents.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, as
Pretty
long as
embarrassing.
we're staying up on that. Have we, camera system, our systems?
Yes.
We have.
Yeah, we're out almost every day. I'd say at least 4 days a week.
Okay.
We're out with the camera.
Yep.
It's delicate equipment, so
Yep.
it fails, and once it fails, it's usually a couple weeks
Right.
for repair. But we're out there just about every day doing TV work. And just recently, through our shared service agreement, we worked with the GIS, and so the engineers with the GIS system have provided some software upgrades where when we now do TV, it immediately goes into the GIS, so we can go into GIS and say, where are the sewer mains that we TV'd in the last 30 days, in the last 60 days, in the last year? And they'll all highlight right on the GIS map. So that was a real nice upgrade. We just finished that midsummer.
Okay,
So that went really well.
great.
I understand that you all visited the plant had a tour several years back. More than welcome to reschedule.
That's
Another
Cameron, she's
tour.
gotta go next.
Yeah, and, you know, so, you know,
And Terry, right?
Jesse has my contact information.
The ladies
If
are
we want to
gonna
put
go.
that together,
Sure.
we can do that anytime, day, evenings, it really doesn't matter. Well, we can always have someone there.
Thank
to,
you.
I got a quick question for you. So, as far as capacity goes, you feel like the plan is in the right spot? I mean, I know we've got a few developments going on, hotel coming online.
You got a
Still-
place you wanna put it, Dave?
What's that? I'm just asking.
No, actually, it's a very good question, because years ago, you know, they were looking at maybe bringing Asbury in.
Yeah.
I
Thank
remember that.
goodness.
Yeah.
Right, thank goodness that they didn't go, because there's not capacity to do something like that. But it's a 7.5 million gallon day plant. We average about 5. When we get rain, a couple times this summer, we're at 25.
Wow.
25 million a day. Yeah, that's all, you know, inflow, infiltration. We're working with Deal right now. They're being very receptive and very helpful. They go from 750,000 gallons a day. We get a rainstorm, instantly they'll go to over 2 million gallons a day.
2 million?
2 million, yes. Yeah. Wow. And then just as fast, it'll
Drops.
drop back down.
Right,
But that's how open their system is
right.
to rain and inflows. So
Okay.
we had a halfway decent storm. We're
Yep.
coming in fast.
So can I follow up on his question?
Yes.
So glad we didn't do it with Asbury. If we had done it when it was being proposed, which was probably when we were visiting, so
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go, you've been on how long, 5 years?
4 years ago, 5
4 years?
Yeah.
So at that time, was there capacity then, and just the growth of the town over the last 4 years has made you?
No, I understood, because I looked at a study that was done, and I understood that hydraulically, yeah, the plant could do it, but process-wise, there were some limitations that we were going to be pushing. We were going to have to do some considerable improvements in the plant. Not that you couldn't do it,
Right.
but there would have been some large capital investments.
Okay.
The Deal Road development, it's great for income, it's great for the town. That would have probably been questionable, had we done something like that.
If we did Asbury and then added that, got it, I see what you're saying. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. The only other thing I had, I think that's it, Tim.
Okay, I do want to say, we are going to hold rates again next year.
Nice.
No rate increase.
Nice.
We've got a 5-year finance plan, going through it with the board now. I don't know that we'll be able to hold that for 5 years, but
So even with the bond that you're issuing,
yes,
that
the
was,
bond, yep, the bond is not going to require us to raise rates.
is that because you're coming off bonds? Are you?
No, it's because we made some process changes this year that significantly reduced some of the costs.
Oh, well, okay.
And so,
So may I ask one question, Mayor? What right now, I mean, you've been there 2 years, you've got a bond ordinance, you got the goals for the next 5 years, you got 2.5 million coming, you got the 3 main points that you brought up. What is your biggest challenge right now?
biggest challenge right now is, I'm going to say 2 things. Getting Deal to fulfill their commitment for reducing their flows, because it really upsets our process.
How do we do that?
Hmm?
How do we do that?
Well, we're meeting regularly, monthly, with the acting administrator over
Right.
right now. They're already started taking action on 2 steps. They actually hired our engineer to look at some improvements at our plant. They have some issues with rags that are very problematic for us. So they have their engineer, or our engineer, looking at how that can be resolved.
Okay.
But they're contracting it, so they're making some commitments. So I feel good about it.
Good.
I know it's tough.
What's their target? You said 750 was what they were doing, they'd go up to 2 million. What is their target?
750 is their contract,
Yeah, right.
and then they pay a penalty for any gallonage per day over that.
Okay.
But that
So
penalty.
2 million's good for us. Joking.
Yeah.
Joking.
It stresses the system.
I got it. It was
No,
a
the
joke.
penalty-
I got it.
It's not good for
Sorry.
system.
We have a very long contract with them, and the penalty really isn't substantial. It's not substantial enough to
Doesn't
make
cover
them,
that
no matter
overage.
what.
Right.
We're gonna keep 750. It's not, they don't feel that pain enough.
Okay. So back to the question, sorry. So 750 is the target. Where are they hovering around that we need to get them back to 750?
Oh, they're at 750 until they get rain issues.
You said the rain's.
The
Until
2
it
million.
rains.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's
So
stormwater
making these
But
improvements,
it sounds like they have infiltration issues.
very, very much.
That's the problem.
Okay.
They have, yeah, over there, they have their roof leaders from their homes tied to the sewer system.
Mm.
So when it rains,
Bring
it comes
them
right
out.
out the roof. It goes.
It goes right in.
And that was
And
to-
whatever's on the roof
Yeah,
is going
and
with it.
that was to relieve flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole, you know, we're gonna be talking about.
We have a,
Yeah, we're gonna-
Tim, we're gonna be meeting with Deal Administrator as well as our engineer and their engineer about flooding mitigation and looking for some federal grants. We've already talked to Greg about looking for some way that we can get the water out, you know, get it out of the town, get it out of their town, and
Yep.
so it's a problem all over. I mean, but, you know.
Yeah. You know, there is, stormwater utilities are something that you
Something.
can do these days.
Right.
Yeah, and it's certainly a good way to fund and.
I didn't even tell him to say this.
I'm just saying. My prior.
Dave's eyeballs lit
I spent a
up.
lot of time in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of utilities, a lot of stormwater utilities in Pennsylvania.
And it brings in money, right?
Hmm?
Brings in money.
Well, it brings in money that they're already paying somewhere else, you know, so.
It's just, it diverts, but that's,
But it gets focused on the problem.
right.
That's the difference.
Yep.
You know,
What was the I'm sorry, Mayor. What was the second? Deal was one, what was two?
Oh, yeah, okay, the second one is, I think we're pretty good, but staffing is always a very challenging part.
It's only gonna get worse.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's
But
only-
we were able to bring in some good management since I got there.
I will say, you have and not because we put them on, but you have a great commission board too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I
absolutely.
think you have probably one of the best group of people over there
You're absolutely right.
that are doing, I mean, you know, they really are, they do a great job. Dennis is in contact with me and, you know, we get updated. We're supposed to meet more often, but things seem to be running pretty well, so.
Yeah, so that's good. You don't hear from us. I mean,
No.
things are going okay.
No news is good news.
I don't hear.
Yes, it's about to say
No,
that.
but Tim, thank you for coming
All
in,
right,
we
thanks,
appreciate
Tim.
it.
All right.
Okay, man, have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Kids will
Okay,
reach out for you for the tour.
let's go to,
You'll have to give me tips.
That
Go
one?
in the summer.
That one you're on your own.
Thank you.
Greg, you're up on deck.
Okay. 2022 road program, we got the assessment schedule for next Tuesday. Jesse and I meeting with the residents to go over final assessments for that program. 23 programs ongoing. We just paved Faith, Aggie, Overhill, and Brielle in the last 3 days. They've got last week they paved Deal Road between Logan and 35, and they paved the Pound Road and Deal intersection. Now those are painted yesterday, so those are in good shape. He's got Lambert Johnson to do on that side, then he'll be coming to this side to do Shadow Lawn and Princeton Court and Ross Court. So he's moving along pretty good. 24 program, I'm waiting for authorization to start that program. Kempwell, the bathrooms, we went for the CDBG grant, we were not successful. I think we came in like 10th out of, and they funded the first 7 projects. So we were not successful in that. Fireman's Pond, we're just, I met with Dave, we talked some information, we have to set up a meeting between yourself and Tom Arnone
Yep.
to talk about what services they're gonna provide to us.
Wait, Dave, when do you wanna do that? You wanna do it in between now and the league, or you wanna? Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
let's get that
so,
on there.
yeah, let's get it on there so we
Yeah, I
can,
think we're just sharpening our pencils a little
Yeah.
bit on a couple of things before we actually had the meeting.
You just
Make
let me
sure we
know.
had Everything lined up.
yeah, we're gonna meet
Yeah,
here,
I-
we're gonna
I
meet
wanna-
out in Freehold.
I wanna meet with you before you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can totally do that.
yeah, just to kinda give you the numbers and what everything is worth.
Okay, so we know
Yes, so you know what you're getting and what you're not getting.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, they'll, pretty sure he'll, work well with Tom, so we'll
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah, and they, like I say, they're working with us. They gave us the letter last month. That's all been submitted to the DEP for approval.
You think from firemen's, we don't have to worry about the spoils out of there because they're gonna go take care of the berm that we were talking about over in,
The leaf
Blair
compost,
Park.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay, so then our issue is the next one, when we go over to Lollipop, we're gonna have to figure out the spoils there. That's gonna be the only issue.
Right.
Okay, I mean, the partnerships are there, the money's there,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of the spoils, so hopefully we'll be able to come up with something. I don't know if Tommy has anything, or, maybe we brainstorm a little bit here,
Well, there are two facets of getting rid of it, of the material at the landfill. One is if it passes their criteria, which I'm sure this material will,
Yep.
we can use it for day cover, which is a lot less expensive to get rid of it because they actually have to pay for day cover material.
Okay.
Versus if it's contaminated past their day cover limits, then we have to dispose of it at disposal rate for contaminated fill.
So we test it to find out if it meets their criteria for the fill.
Right.
Okay.
So then we did the testing already for firemen's and it would have passed that criteria. And Lollipop is next on the agenda once we get all the funding in place.
Right. A Lollipop should be the same then, potentially, right?
You would think, but you never
Yeah.
know because it comes off Asbury Avenue. and,
Yeah, that's
there's
right.
Different areas.
You got
So,
old Lappin Industries that used to run down through there as well.
Yeah, a lot more industrial areas where
Yep.
firemen's all residential.
Yep, you're right.
So, but once we get the funding in place for that, which we're working on, that'll get started with the testing and the designs. The other two were just on hold until those two. 1515 Logan, we had the meeting last Thursday with the DEP. They kind of agreed with us, we do not need to do another flood hazard area study. So we just have to button up some paperwork with them, get them some information back and kind of massage what we do have already and we should be good to go there. So it'll take another couple weeks, hopefully we'll be done.
Good.
Next one, I think we're gonna, I don't want to handle, but we probably have to discuss what we're gonna do with Bindler in that area with the traffic. I know we kind of threw it out there that the county's not doing their improvements to Asbury Avenue, so we have to kind of probably, figure out what we want to do as a,
Yeah, just make it one way and no left turn or whatever.
if we make it one way out, then
Yeah.
you can't turn in, just say do not enter. That would probably be, it would certainly stop the traffic flow coming in, so.
It's probably the best thing. Do you have to get the police department to?
I was about to say, I think Greg and I
Yeah,
should
do a
meet
traffic
with the
study.
chief and
Yeah.
the traffic and
Let's
come back
float
with
it Sunday.
recommendation to the council.
Let's float it Sunday at the picnic.
That's a possibility. I don't know if they wanna talk about that then, but.
But
I
we should
wanna
also
roll
probably,
today.
we should also bring it up with the county, kind of let them know what we're doing, because I know they were opposed to us doing that, because it's gonna leave
That's
all
what
the
I-
traffic on their road, but it's their traffic, so why should we have a problem with that? So,
I'm sorry, who's going, on Asbury's Road?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the county was upset with me
Right.
when I first told them that, because the Asbury Avenue can't handle that flow either.
Right.
But that shouldn't be our problem, to keep it off of a local road, it should stay on the county highway. So that's why we're gonna give back to them.
Weren't they supposed to get some grant to do a whole
Yeah,
they didn't get it?
That's what we were
denied?
waiting for, we were waiting, because that was gonna do an improvement on that whole
That
stretch.
road has to get fixed.
Yeah.
They were denied, Greg?
Yeah,
Or they didn't do
I don't know
it?
it wasn't necessarily denied, they just, like us, we weren't denied, we just didn't make the funding limit.
Gotcha.
Their other projects were funded in front of them.
Okay.
That's a good project for our state senator / assembly
Yeah.
people.
And, well, that was federal money, so it would have to
Oh,
be,
yeah?
it would
Federal,
be,
yeah. Okay.
US. Okay, Trailer Roller Road was paved today,
Oh, nice.
so that's done. Met with the fire
Did you meet
chief.
Fire chief?
And it's funny because they have a problem with the existing apron, not the road being paved.
Oh.
And they were looking at the curb and said they didn't know if they're gonna fit between the curbs. They said, we're paving this pavement to the top of the curb. So they're okay with the roadway, but they do have a problem. There's one B inlet that sticks up. It would probably give them flat tires on the right turn in, because it's a kind of an awkward turn coming in off a roller road. The south side of that is fine, it's a straight in. So I told them we would work and try to get a different B casting in there and change the apron a little bit to make it better for them. Also met with Steve Higgins yesterday, because I think they also have a problem with trees there, because the trees are hanging over the road. So Steve's gonna trim the trees back so the engine can get and maneuver a little further to the opposite curb to make that corner. But they've been turning in there for years, they know that, they thought we just redid that, so they were saying they can't get in there. But we did not change that. That's-
Yeah, I'd rather you get it figured out before it, you know,
Yeah.
gets completed. And they were a little concerned, I didn't know.
Yeah, but we didn't change the entrance apron, so we're gonna have
Right.
to go back and fix that, but, because we started from the back of the sidewalk in,
Okay.
and they thought we were doing the whole thing.
They
but-
thought we did the whole thing. All right, I get it.
Kramer Court Bridge, we're 90% complete, we're just waiting here to get the JCP&L service and lights on the bridge. Other than that, he just has a couple punch list items to do, just some cross bracing and stuff to put in. The only other thing we have to do there, I'm gonna put the concrete approaches in, but I'm gonna wait till our contractor comes over, because he's gonna be working on Brookside. So when he's on Brookside, we'll have him pour those slabs in there.
That's from the bridge to the streets?
Bridge to the streets, yeah, on both sides. Yeah.
What'd you think? I didn't know what to expect. I didn't look at plans or anything. I thought it turned out fantastic.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Right?
Yeah.
It fits
That's the way I
landscape.
thought it was gonna turn out. But
What's that?
That's the way I thought it was gonna turn out, but since we drew it, but yeah,
I didn't see. Good job.
Yeah. No, I knew it was gonna be nice, and actually, to be honest with you, the best thing that happened to us there is we had to move the bridge over about 10 feet
Right.
to the west, because the DEP directive was not to take down any trees. So we moved it to avoid large trees. We'd have to take down probably 7 trees along the property line off of Brookside. So by moving that, it gave us a little jog in the bridge, so you can't see from one end to the other. It's not like an open travelway.
Right.
With that jog, so that makes it very nice.
Yeah.
That was a little added benefit for the shift. But no, I think it came out very nice. It's gonna be a nice attribute to
Bless
this
you.
town. Okay, I got the numbers in for the second round of dredging for Whale Pond into Joe Playa Park up to the backside of 35. I sent those in, no, the numbers are coming in tomorrow. We'll get that in and run it by Ricky, get our funding, so I can get that done probably. Once we get the numbers in, we'll probably start that in a couple weeks. So that cleaning will be the next phase we're gonna do.
And I'm sorry, you did the phase from Whale Pond to Monmouth?
No.
No.
That-
This is
that-
the first.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
'cause
it.
we're
That was the
waiting
one
for
you
the
needed.
machine to come in.
Right, and you were waiting for people to approve it, or
Yeah.
the
Well,
houses.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna do this in phase. We're gonna do, down by Washington Avenue, there's one piece of property that's not in an easement. We're gonna get his permission, we're gonna use our machine to go through there as a test case to make sure that we can use our equipment, our people to clean this out. And then we're gonna go do Whale Pond to Monmouth with our machine.
Okay.
Because once we're convinced we can go in there and do this with our manpower, it'll make it a little easier than trying to, because that's gonna be pretty tough between Whale Pond and Monmouth. Because it's really tight in there, and it would cost us a lot more money. I don't wanna do that in like 6 or 7 phases. So if we use our own people through there, it'll make it a lot easier. Okay, the only other thing I have to talk to you about, it kinda came up, this is a planning board, I think it's actually a zoning board issue. Zoning board, yeah. It's a property located at 1219 Alaire Avenue. Take copies down.
I see your signature.
Thank you.
You need one. What happens is, this went to the zoning board, and the zoning board approved it conditionally because it needs mayor council approval. What happened is, the gentleman's going to put an addition on the house, and we put a new open porch and refurbish some things on the house. And came up through discussion at the board that he's actually using the Monmouth Avenue right-of-way as part of his property. He's got the driveway and one of his patios out into the road, right-of-way. And what the owner has asked is, to solve the problem, he's asking the mayor and council to vacate the road, which would technically would solve half of his problem, because by vacating the road, it would then put, if assuming the guy on the other side took his half, it would then put all of his improvements on his own property. But the problem would be, without the road there, his driveway uses the paved portion of the road, which is the half he wouldn't get. So the problem we would have, if we gave the other half to the far side, he would have no access to his driveway without building a new driveway.
Is it actually paved?
Yeah, Monroe is.
What's the address
The
again?
little skinny portion is.
1219
Thank you.
He's got to.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you can see this, where the lines are, you see that this portion is paved, where the 2 lines are on Monroe Avenue.
I just, it's very rare that you
Right, the
vacate
vacated
a
road.
paved
Right.
road.
And I think the problem we would also have is, on the other side, that gentleman uses this paved portion for his driveway. So he would then have to also build a driveway down to Alaire Avenue. So I don't, this is kind of a tough one, because like Matt says, we've always only vacated something that was vacant.
Right.
And not used, or, for whatever reason, but this was actually paved. Not that I wanna have more roads and paved, because we have to fix them and repave them. But this is kind of a dicey situation, because I don't know, it's gonna be real easy for these guys. They're gonna have to pay to put in about an 80-foot driveway for both of them if we vacate this.
So this is a dead-end road anyway.
Right, this is dead end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
it's
again,
really, it's really like a glorified driveway in the first place.
Right.
We're talking Monroe.
Monroe
Monroe.
is.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ideal thing would be is if we vacated it and the guy to, I'll call it the west, doesn't want the property, the guy at 1219 would then get all of it, and we'd only have to give the guy to the west of this an easement to go down that existing driveway, which would then become private. But that's pretty dicey too, because then that guy wouldn't have any legal access to his property via driveway other than through somebody else's property. So it's more of a Matt problem.
You know, honestly, I with just first impression, it's being used. I mean, it's not exactly like this is a paper street or something. I mean, and I'm looking at a Google image.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, this was a paper street when I grew up.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's paved now, yeah. So
What,
that's-
There.
without looking at the application, I mean, what else did they have to, were there variances involved in this?
Yes. Well, the problem is, everything he has, that he was doing, by putting the second story addition on, he has an existing setback to Monroe Avenue frontage.
Right.
And that would be amplified because he's putting a second story addition on. It wasn't getting any closer, but he's magnifying it by putting a second story 12 feet away from the property line. So he needed a variance for that. He was building a porch in the front yard setback to Alaire, and then he was building steps, which I think were by ordinance exempt from the setback. So he had those two variances, and then the planner for the board, Jim Higgins, said that, you still need mayor and council approval because you got all these other improvements that aren't on your property, which was his driveway and his patio. So.
Yeah, the patio he could probably give up, but the driveway's tough.
Well, the driveway you probably could too. He can move the driveway back onto his own property over there, and come in and come out to that access. But from my point of view, I would not have a problem if you left it the same and just told him to take the patio out of our right of way. Because the driveway staying there, he's gonna have to connect up to the paved portion anyway.
Yeah.
So if you left the asphalt driveway there, that would be fine, but take the patio off of our property, and I think wouldn't have a problem with it.
So that's all he has to do instead of vacating that road.
But he would need mayor and council approval to leave his driveway technically on the property. But if you think about it, if any place we have a road and we have a 10-foot distance between the curb and the property line, they have to put a driveway across the right of way. That's all this would be. It's just that the road's a little further away than 10 feet. So the driveway would be something naturally occurring anyway. It's
Keep
just
in
a
mind,
patio.
no one uses this street. This is a
Right.
street to nowhere.
It's dead
It's a
end.
dead
It's
end.
an absolute dead end.
Yeah, there's only a guy who uses the guy on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a dirt road when I grew up here.
But if we vacate, then that means each side gets half.
And I would believe that the owner on the west side of this would have to take half because he would have no access for his driveway if he did it. So then by taking that half, then the guy on the east side of 1219 would have a problem because he would have no driveway access.
And
Because
just,
he's actually using the part of the right way that he wouldn't get.
and just for the record, when we say take, and I get it's paper, but it's paved, take it like we're giving it to them, or take it, we're gonna give them a price for it?
No.
So we have to give it to him for free.
Well,
But the problem is, what do we?
technically they own it.
Yeah, technically. We
Technically,
have to
they
give it
own
back
it.
to them. We give it back to them for free. But the thing is, the problem is is also that pavement in there. It's a little wider than a normal driveway. It's gonna now be a combined driveway. I don't know how that would work. Both sides would have a driveway right next to each other, so we'd end up probably with more pavement and a little bit of a confusing situation, because by taking out the paved surface and putting two driveways there, each on their own respective half of that right of way, would still make this guy lose his patio and move his driveway back.
He's already doing construction now,
Yeah.
I'm going for the path of least resistance.
Why is he
Counselor?
doing construction already?
He's doing a
He's doing it.
big addition on that house.
That's why this came up.
That's why it came up. It's tripling the size of the house. He's making a much bigger addition.
But he got approval for that already?
Technically, yes.
How?
So the board gave approval. And the condition is that, it wasn't a condition of approval, it was just a condition that, you know, that he should come to the mayor council and talk to you about these improvements either being taken off the right of way or vacating the road.
So if we say no, in theory, he's got to go back and resubmit plans to get it approved?
No, because really if he said no, he'd be reducing what he's doing, he'd have to take the patio out of the right of way. So he'd be reducing his coverage and reducing the improvement, so that would be fine. And the driveway would be the same thing, he would just have to, you know, move the driveway fully onto his property and then connect to that same existing road that's paved now. So it's very little difference.
Point of clarification, I don't think this went to the board yet.
That- well,
Because in his letter, he says, I need to know the answer from the council as soon as possible, because I can't get a variance date set without an approval.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, because you had me thinking too, because,
No, he definitely didn't go in front of the board.
Okay.
yeah, and this
Call
only
me.
popped up because the zoning
Jerry.
officer,
Was it? Jerry Garrett.
the zoning officer picked up on the.
I didn't know Greg was.
The concrete and the
It's here. I
slate
didn't
patio.
have a clue. I texted him today.
I just assumed it went because there were two review letters from the board engineer and the board
That's
planner.
going, but he
Okay.
can't, they won't let him on because of this
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And Kate, the zoning officer said.
Okay.
"You
Right,
gotta
that's the
come
one
here."
I sent you the message about. That's, it's weird.
It's the same day it came up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
But, I mean, from my point of view, my recommendation, I would probably agree with Dave as the least path resistance. If you left it the way it is, and you tell him to make, take the patio out of the right of way, his driveway can sit it because he needs the connection to the road anyway. Right, because it's where the paved surface is. But just take the patio off and it would be a lesser improvement in the right of way and everything else would be fine. And then he'll still get his variances for the setbacks because he's just going up. It shouldn't really be a problem to give him a variance for going vertically up.
And when you say patio, I just want to clarify, the slate patio?
Yes, the
That's
slate
this
patio.
piece that's coming over.
Yeah.
he comes in off of Alaire into the property?
No, he comes up on Monroe Avenue,
Oh.
turns right into Monroe, and then Monroe is paved up to his asphalt driveway on the right-hand side.
Monroe's.
It's like the driveway's behind the house.
And he would only have to take off the portion
Okay.
that's
In the right
coming
of way.
into the right of way.
Correct.
Just that little piece.
So about half of it.
And if he does that, what you're saying, how does that affect the guy on the west?
Not at all. There'd be no impact. And that's really what I'm looking at as the guy to the west, because if we go and we vacate it, they both kind of have a problem. If we don't vacate it, the guy in the west stays the same, the guy in the east stays the same, he just has to take the patio out of the town right away, which I think is the easiest thing. It shouldn't really matter to him, he's got plenty of room to, I mean, he's got a concrete patio and a slate patio, he's got plenty of patio room there. So I would think even if he readjusts what he has,
And by him keeping that asphalt drive here in the right of way, what's the legalese on that? And maybe that's more of a question for you, Matt.
that would just be the driveway connection to the roadway. Right, I mean, he needs that. to
But is there
connect to our
something the
road.
township has to do with the easement or?
And we let everybody come through the right of way to connect to the road with their driveway. That's what we get into when we do redo the aprons and stuff.
So he's not doing anything here, it's just going, it's already there?
Right,
Okay.
correct,
He's doing this piece?
right. Yeah, and if we vacated that, then you'd have to take this and put this back on his property and bring a driveway down there, you know, out to there. So it would just add a lot of confusion and a lot more coverage.
So his driveway is technically part of the road?
That portion of it, yes,
Yeah.
it's in the right, it's no different than a guy, everybody else's apron, their concrete apron and sidewalk area. Everybody has 10 foot of their driveway in the town right away. Which is where we get into the fun with the assessments.
Okay.
I wasn't good with it if it had already been approved and he was coming, now he was doing it. I'm good.
And just to make him remove the slate patio
Yeah.
and then the rest of
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that solves the problem. He will get his approval as the board with that. Yeah. Okay,
Sounds good to me.
So we're not vacating it right away.
we're not gonna vacate it.
And you'll do the memorandum back to the
To
planner and
Colleen.
zoning?
Yeah,
Okay.
Colleen.
Colleen.
Yeah.
Just copy me on that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. That's all I had.
Thank you, Greg.
I have one question before you. I saw that they marked out Poplar. Was that by the firehouse? Is that just for firehouse stuff? Looked like they went down the street pretty far. So some fluorescent markings on the road.
That's just us surveying for the road program coming up.
Okay, so that's for the 2025?
24.
Are they gonna pave that section?
From the south end, half of it up to going moving north.
So there, because I noticed the lines didn't go, the markings didn't go all the way down. So how far down are you going?
About halfway.
Halfway?
Yeah, halfway to West Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna be affected by the construction going on there?
No, we'll be done. That'll be paid last in the program.
Okay. All right, well,
Just
that's
to
getting
avoid
paid.
that. Because they're actually, they're pouring their slab now in front of the.
Yeah, they're moving quick now.
And when they get into all their other stuff will be internal.
Yeah.
To the roads, they really won't be impacting Poplar as
Yeah.
much when they do the school portion.
Okay, good.
Correct. They gotta take the fence down on this too.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta take all the improvements other than the driveway out of the right of way. Rob doesn't have any questions for us?
Rob,
You
no
did a
question?
very thorough job this evening.
Wow.
Where's the computer? Where's the computer?
Keith, I got your
Right
thing
there.
about the
Brought my
sidewalk.
notebook tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, just call me.
Yeah.
Papers always
Okay,
better.
thank you.
Keith, any questions for
No, I'm good, thank you.
Dave? Anything else?
We're good?
Nada. All good.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got two quick items.
Okay. Thank you,
One's a
everybody.
follow-up and reiteration. I think Greg kind of talked about it with the Capitol Park, the bathrooms.
Yep.
We went for the CDBG funds. We ranked number 9 out of 17, which wasn't too bad. But the fact is, only the first
7.
6, the first 6 only made allocations and appropriations. After that, the funding of 900,000 dried up. Supposedly, the Monmouth County CDBG program is doing very well with HUD, and HUD hopefully will be sending further funds, and then they'll begin to go back to 7, 8, and then if they get to us 9, we'll get possibly some funding. We're only looking for 167,000, so I think there's a good chance if HUD comes back with further funding, we should get funded.
Right.
So the good news is you don't have to reapply.
Right.
No,
If they
no,
get funding
this-
this
at
year.
least for now, this year. I mean,
Right.
once, this, this is an annual event. The other thing is, Greg also talked about Cindy Lane, was on the phone with ARH today, talked to the CFO. We've got the certified funds, so on your next meeting in November, you'll see a resolution for 120,000, which will help ARH to finish up the DEP proposal. And just by the look of Rob's face, I'll send the proposal around so that everybody can see the different phases and all the stuff that has to be done up there. It's very technical work. It's the LSRP, environmental, all that good stuff has to be done, so it could be either deemed, help me out here, landfill or
Dump.
what's the technical, I was trying to
Illegal.
find a better word than dump.
Illegal landfill.
Yeah. So that's where we're at.
There's
with
actually a
that.
distinction between a landfill and a dump?
The rules are
The
different.
rules are totally
Yeah.
different.
They're
And that's
clean
all we
up.
need them to get us to, so we know how to manage the situation, so we can then look further for the DPW facility on that site. The third item I have is for closed session, it's the affordable housing project.
Go around the horn.
Good night.
All right.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Rob?
I'm good, Mayor.
Wow.
Guys,
What are you
notice
smiling
the date?
about?
You noticed the date?
The day.
Wasn't the pigs flying out there?
I'm good
Is
also,
the full
thank
moon
you.
back?
Dave?
Well, in the spirit of Rob, I have nothing to report.
Well, I'm gonna join the three of you now.
There you
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No, it's, no, I got nothing. It's all good. I'll go around the table real quick and then, we're gonna go into closed session, so let's start with Matt.
I'm sorry.
First of all, I'm going to be here.
Gambling.
I'm illness in the family, so I appreciate it. It seems like you're working hard on a lot of things. One thing that's kind of 315 West Park, the recreation building, the elevator in there has not been working for months.
Got that, Dave?
Months.
315 West Park?
Well, 615
They're waiting for a part. They're waiting for a part.
for months.
I know.
I'm sorry.
You
The
bought.
elevator.
Yeah, I called my sport.
The other thing, the thought I had was maybe that should be replaced, since that building's gonna remain as part of the public building. So why just put a part of it, why not replace the whole darn elevator? I don't know. Maybe it's price sensitive.
No, if they're waiting for the part, we're waiting for the part.
Is that the senior center or?
It's been months.
Yeah.
Senior
Months.
center.
Senior center.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk to Mike.
Okay, he'll check it
The
out.
worst place for the
Thanks.
elevator to break.
Ladies, it's Julia.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Julia.
Patty's gonna take it from here.
Okay, let's go, Pat.
That's it?
That was great, Julia.
Nice work, Julia.
So I'm Patty Kronheim. For those of you who don't know me, it's great to see the council and see Mayor John. I just, in the spirit of communication, want to let you know what we're doing. So there is a new subcommittee that's been meeting all summer of the Shade Tree Commission as the Shade Tree Planning Committee. And the purpose of this was to have support the Shade Tree Commission, but also to have a better improve and streamline and create a good, strong planning process so we can better serve all the residents of the township. Especially one of the goals is to try to engage and serve residents in overburdened communities in Ocean Township and make sure that they're represented as well in planning that goes on in town. So who we are in the committee, we want, and this is Dave's guidance, so thank you, Dave. We have people from planning, we have Julia from planning, we have Angeli from the Environmental Commission, Julia too. We have Steve Higgins from Public Works. We have Patrick Sullivan from school. He's in charge of all the science programs at the school. And so we also talk with Superintendent Kelly a lot, so she's engaged. So, and Ken Lutz from Shade Tree and myself. So our goal is really to just, as I said, have a better process and better outreach and better communication in the town. So we're looking at budgets, we're looking at money, we're going to be looking at all the things that we don't know and gathering information. We've been doing that. We're looking at grant possibilities to do things to get more information. For instance, a tree canopy study for the town, which hasn't been done since before Sandy. So we figured that was important. How can we do planning if we don't have that big picture and that bird's eye view? We are coordinating with the schools in an exciting way in that we're going to be trying to integrate what we do and trees and flooding and so forth in those kinds of issues with the school curriculum so that we can engage students in real Ocean Township issues in their studies, as well as some of the students perhaps participating on the committee. So learning a little bit about government as well and you know, that process. So that's kind of exciting. That's a fun piece. But one of the things that we're going to do that we're really excited about is that we've developed a survey. And we're going to be using the school's backpack software and sending it out, and we can put it on the Shade Tree page and so forth. And the survey is going to be going out to all Ocean Township residents, and it will be asking them questions about trees in their communities. Do they have trees? How many trees do they see? You know, do they have access to shade? Does their neighborhood flood? Do the school buses get stuck? You know, and do they want to be more engaged? Do they want to find out more? And we're hoping, and we're also having, we're using the election maps and the zoning maps, and we're creating a map just with numbers, color-coded, so they can just pinpoint where they live by number, so we don't have to have any specific information from them, but we'll know who's responding and from where. And that's going to be information, I think, that'll be really useful for a lot of different purposes in the town. So that's what we're doing. And we just want to let you guys know and let you know that we're here, and if anything we're doing can help and inform what you're doing, that would be great. And also Julia and I, we're interested, really interested in your conversations with the DOT and Route 35.
Okay.
That we'd love to know more about. And my question also is any of this process, have you done yet any kind of outreach in the communities around 35 or gotten any kind of feedback from folks who live there as
No,
well?
but that's coming. I don't know if we'll get into the residencies, but it'll definitely be the commercial corridor.
Okay, because I've definitely, I mean, that's my professional background, is I've done advocacy for League of Conservation Voters, Rethink Energy New Jersey, you know, that's been what my experience has been as an advocate, so I would love to be involved and engaged or help you any way you can when it's time to do that.
Patty, I mean, a really good report. I appreciate you coming in and, you know, updating us. My suggestion is let us know in advance so that we can put you on the agenda, and this way we know. I mean, because we would run out of time, I wouldn't have heard you. But I'm glad. No, I'm glad that you gave what you gave, because it was very informative. I know that we've been trying to have better communication with the Shade Tree Commission and some things that are going on there, and you know, appreciate your advocacy. I appreciate getting Dr. Donlin's tree finally planted that we, it
But
took us a long
they
time.
said, we're working on streamlining
Right.
the process and creating a process and
Right.
talking to them about how, and this committee basically is gonna have suggestions. We'll bring everything, it's under the auspices of Shade Tree, we bring
Yep.
everything we do to Shade Tree.
Yep.
Shade Tree will review it,
Yep.
and then we'll be able to make those recommendations.
Well, we appreciate that, thank you.
Can I ask a quick
Yeah.
5 questions? 2 or 3?
5.
So what's an, I'm joking, what's an overburden?
Okay, so this, I am so glad you asked.
Wait,
this.
what did you ask for?
Maybe
What's
I
an
have to
overburden
maybe I
community?
should.
You handed it to me
Oh,
on
boy, Patty.
Didn't you give me that question on the way
Patty,
in?
he asked
Yeah.
the right question.
You asked the
She's
right-
missing.
Yes.
You
take it.
Okay, overburden, DEP 2 years ago did a complete survey of all towns in the state of New Jersey in part of their environmental justice work. And they determined which areas in every town are overburdened communities. An overburdened community is a community that identifies, the 40 or 50%, don't quote me on this, on either being identifying as non-white, English as a second language, or low income. Ocean Township has 3 such areas. They are, as you can just look at the pink on the zoning maps and you'll know where they are. They're around 35.
I believe they're census tracts.
And
I think
it's based
done by
on, it's
census.
based on the last census tracts. And the DEP has wonderful website information on this. You can look it up on the DEP website, State of New Jersey website. And the DEP in everything they do prioritizes and asks towns to prioritize their overburdened communities in all of their decision making. And that they've made environmental justice, the state has made environmental justice
Yep.
a high priority. And I've done a lot of work with environmental justice over the years in my career. So for me, to be able to integrate that in my town with the work we're doing is very helpful.
And it also helps us now navigate for grants too, because if we target those areas, we're more likely to get a grant to support the efforts that go to the overburdened communities.
Absolutely.
May I ask a question in
Absolutely.
relation to
My
the
partner,
grants?
yes.
So, I had taken on the task of, finding grants that we could apply for. And
Uh-huh.
I had, learned that, I don't know if specifically the police, department and that administration, but we have grant writers on retainer. Would it
Yes, that-
only be through them, or is it also through town hall?
Call me.
Okay,
and
so I'm
then-
gonna connect with you next
Yeah,
week
'cause
on who I
It has
need
to
to
be
get to.
myself or Tracy, I
Mhm.
think Mike Patrico because of recreation, and then Greg is the engineer. I think we're the only 4 that can activate the grant writers.
Understood, okay.
So call my
I'll
office
connect
and,
with you,
and
yes.
yep.
Because
we'll get
if
that done.
Julia can find the grant or locate a grant to do the canopy,
Yeah.
we'd rather not spend shade tree funds to do this. Grants are always better, but if we can show that we need more trees in overburdened communities, it'll be a lot easier to get a grant. We have that
Mhm.
data to show we can get a grant. David's Tree
Absolutely.
Service was only able to do, the grant money was only able to cover certain parts of the town. There are huge swaths of town that haven't been surveyed yet, had a tree survey yet, and those areas include the overburdened communities. So a tree canopy could be a nice way to get that information quickly and inexpensively to be able to support grants to do work in that area, so,
So you mentioned the last tree canopy was before Sandy?
yeah.
2010.
What was the one that hit?
Didn't we just do one 2 years ago?
It's actually
No,
on
that
our
was-
website.
That was a
That was
tree.
Davies.
That was an inventory, not the canopy.
To see what's dead.
That was an inventory that showed,
Yeah.
showed
We just got
as a
we
county.
got a grant to do
and-
that.
and-
This one's to study the
You know,
canopy.
yeah. The
There's
canopy is
shade.
the coverage.
Yeah, way different.
The other
It's
one is
oxygen.
actually looking at the
Yeah.
trees itself.
So they're looking at seeing
It's
which
the,
one
one is
to
the
cover.
individual trees and the other
I went to
is
class for this, Rob.
just the amount.
Yeah, yeah.
I got a degree in this.
No, I did. I took
That's
the
awesome.
tree class.
I love that.
Right.
Tree classes.
I'm sorry, I got one more. So, speaking of trees,
Excellent.
respectfully, we've been waiting 10 years for a plan to put new trees
Yes, you
in.
have.
So-
Well, I've been on the shade tree committee now for a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
We're working on that.
And we have a new committee
Uh-huh.
that's starting to help create a new process to streamline and create a plan. So.
They have the tree planting subcommittee.
Yeah, so.
Daddy, great answer.
So, we are, as I said, gathering the information we need, including budgetary information, so that we can make this plan. We have to come up for, it was 2025, the Shade Tree Commission has to come up with a forestry management plan for the DEP. So we need the information we need to be able to inform that. But I think I've been talking to folks in different shade trees in different towns, and towns that are large and similar to us, like Asbury. And what they do is they come up with a budget. It's like, we're gonna spend, this is our amount we can spend, on X amount on maintenance, X amount on renewable, and a percentage, and X percentage on planning. But they don't come up with what we're gonna plan where at the beginning of the year. It gives them some flexibility as the year goes on. They go, oh, that's a good idea, and be more flexible, but they know how much they wanna spend. We're thinking that might be the way to go, but you're just gonna have to be a little patient, because and know that we're working on it.
Cool.
So when do you target it being done?
With the Shade Tree Subcommittee,
Well, when will we have a plan?
for it.
First, we need finances, which we're working on obtaining. 'cause
Why?
We don't have them.
What do you need money for?
Higgins is
Wait,
our
we
No,
have-
we need
have-
the numbers. We need to
They wanna
see
know
the
what their
budget.
They
budget
don't
is.
know.
We have a shade tree fund that whenever you take down a tree, you
Right.
have to obviously pay into this fund.
Right.
We need to see these numbers and need
So
to
we'll
see
give
where
it to you
what money's.
tomorrow. Hold on, we'll give it to you tomorrow.
We're getting.
Steve's got, yeah,
Okay.
it's all under control.
And then based on those numbers, we're going to be able to make a plan, a better plan. And
Okay,
have
so when will
ETAs.
we see it?
That's
Look,
the
Dave's
question.
on, Dave's
I'm
on
being-
this.
In 20
No,
in
Dave's
2025.
on this. He's been working on it. He's
So
trying
when
to
will
get
we see it?
I would say I would say like come
Maybe
January,
2027.
February.
Say-
25.
I said give them at least 6 months, 3 to
Give us
6.
some time to do it right.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
Thank you.
There's a process, it's gotta go through there, and then it's gotta go up to the shade tree. And both the shade tree, and I wanna commend this team here for all that they're doing and getting things in order, and commend the shade tree, cause Norm's got a lot on his plate as he's working on the grant to inventory trees and such, and we're trying to keep up with all that stuff, so the two are working together, and you will have your report within 3 to 6 months.
Is Bill, and may I ask, I don't know, is Bill involved?
Bill's involved as well,
Okay.
on multiple levels.
Okay.
Cause, and we got DPW is more involved as well. Steve's a direct contact to the committee.
Yep.
He's on the
Steve
committee.
Higgins, so, yep. So anything in
He's
this.
getting us the numbers.
Yep.
We gotta hit closed.
Thank you.
you.
Yep. Thank you guys,
you.
yep.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you, Patty.
For the
Call me, Julie.
opportunity.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patty, if you wanna do this every couple of months or so.
You're gonna say every meeting.
No.
No, I thought we were teasing her.
Hi, guys. I want
Every few
Patty to
months.
give classes
A few
on all
months
of
will
this. I just want her hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My hair could come in like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been flip-flopped. Kelly's been.
Have a good day. Bye, guys.
See ya.
This is much better like this because this is way more detailed.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jack, good seeing you twice in
plug
one
us?
day.
I actually walked in this morning too.
I know, I saw you.
Motion to go into closed sessions.
Second.
Wait, first, Dave,
Who
you're
motioned?
You
Is he
did.
allowed to make a motion?
I didn't make a
Did?
motion. Motion to go in closed
He
session.
just made the motion.
No,
Is he
I said-
allowed to as a mayor?
Yes.
No, I
Okay.
said, I make them, oh, all right, whatever.
Yeah, second. No, I wasn't sure about that. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good evening, everybody. I want to just remind everybody that all Township Council meetings will be audio and video taped. They'll be shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fisher? Here. Councilmember Sochera?
Here.
Kaplan? Here.
Can everyone please stand as we do a pledge allegiance and remain standing as we do a silent prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to just honor 3 people that passed away in the Township of Ocean that were pretty involved. We had Les Fromkin, whose wife worked in the police station. He was also a local builder. We had Maureen Meller, who was a local resident who came to just about every council meeting while he was healthy, represented Cedar Village, and of course Norm Brosniak, who was a longtime educator, lifeguard, and just very involved. So these are 3 very important people in the community, and we want to do a silent prayer for them. You may be seated. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a notice of the annual meeting was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. There are 2 emergency exits to the wall on the wall to my right that'll take you to the front of the door, and one to my left that'll take you to the rear. Please make sure that all cell phones are turned off, and if you need to make a call, kindly step outside. Before we get into our ceremony, I'd like to just go down the table for our council comments. I'm going to start off with Deputy Mayor Dave Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things here. I got to pander to the crowd, so congratulations, Lieutenant Mark Delton, on your getting through the FBI Academy. That's a tremendous accomplishment, and I congratulate you for that. Second of all, I do want to remind everybody Election Day is coming up. So if you have your intentions of voting, now's the time to get your vote by mails in, get yourself registered, but don't forget to vote. I do want to say a little something about Norman Brosniak. He was an all-around good guy, and I think the town will miss him. So thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Geeta Kaplan.
I don't want to take away from the ceremony, but I just want to congratulate all of our officers tonight and thank their families, as I know that having a police officer in your family, it takes the work of the entire family. So thank you all.
Councilman Robert Shera.
I'll make mine quick too. I want to congratulate Alexander Pino for getting his Eagle Scout Award. He lives in Ocean Township, but he's part of Troop 67 in Red Bank. He's the birdhouse guy. If you noticed all the birdhouses in Chopolaya Park, he's the guy. So we'll get him here and do a proclamation for him here. So congratulations to him, congratulations to the officers and Lieutenant.
Thank you, Rob. Dave.
Yeah, man, I just want to echo what everybody else said and congratulate all our incoming police officers. I want to also thank the chief and all of the brass and leadership for what they have been doing in getting these officers to this point, and congratulate the lieutenant as well on his achievement with the FBI. Great job, everybody.
Thank you. Matt.
Oh, nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Just to echo the sentiments, I see, all of our police out here, and like I've said, we have one of the finest police departments in the state of New Jersey. I don't want to upset you, Mr. Dello. I know you're in the back there, and you are part of Asbury Park Police Department. His family also goes back with mine, but the Dellos were very involved. But, sorry, Bill, I'm here, man. I'm not over there today. But we do have Chris Koyman. We have Sean Edson, Aaron Pingator tonight, Dominic Finelli, Robert Barta, and Hoover Kano. They're coming on our force to join one of the best, and I congratulate you. So let's get up here. Let's swear you guys in officially. We're going to do 2 at a time.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you, the council, and the manager for the opportunity to fill the ranks over the last 18 to 24 months. I'd like to thank you, the manager, and the council for, again, hiring and filling the ranks over the last 18 to 24 months. I'd like to welcome the friends and family of all these new officers. I'd like to take a moment, thoughts and prayers for all the first responders, their families, and everyone in the southeast affected by these hurricanes. We have the best police department. No offense to the other officers in the room or Hoover Senior. We do have the best police department in the area. I would like to acknowledge 2 recent retirees, Michael DeSimone and Casey Larison. Mike couldn't be with us. Casey is back here. Please stand for a round of applause. We thank you for 25 years of dedicated service to the department and the residents of the township. We have 6 new officers. We'll swear in 2 by 2 by seniority. We have Chris Koyman. He's a graduate of Stockton. And Sean Edson is a graduate of Monmouth. They both worked in Allenhurst prior to coming over to Ocean. Aaron Pingator is a John Jay University graduate, worked in Asbury. Dominic Finelli and Robert Baharda are Brookdale graduates. Dominic worked in Red Bank, Robert worked in Atlantic Island, and we have Hoover, Cano, also Stockton, and an Avon transfer. So as you can see, they're all from this area. They chose the best police department to come to, so we welcome them on a healthy, safe, and successful career.
Gene, you okay with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's go up, gentlemen. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's eat your Bible. Yeah. Do you want somebody to come up and hold the Bible?
Sure, no, no.
Let's go. Come on, Mom. Sean, you get the wife? Copy, a little cheat sheet for you. All right, you're gonna put your left hand on the Bible. You're gonna raise your right hand. You don't want. Okay, that's fine. It was a cheat sheet. No. You don't have to hold it. Raise your right hand. I, please state your name.
I, Christopher Coyman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
Do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of patrolman
of the position of patrolman
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You want to get pictures with family?
Do pictures at the end.
Okay, at the end.
Get through this stuff.
Chief, who are the next two in seniority? And Finelli? You guys want to have somebody come up there?
Dad, you want to come up?
My cheat sheet. Yeah, you guys can all come up. Again, left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I
I
do further solemnly swear
do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all of the duties
of the position of patrolman
of the position of patrolman
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Thank you. All right. Robert and Hoover. Okay, who do we want to come up? Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the position of patrolman for the Township of Ocean Police Department according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations, gentlemen. We want to come up with the family members and take a picture. Let's get all the new police officers up here together, get a group shot, and then the family shots, and then we're good. Council will get with you and all that other fun stuff. We're going to open up public comment for questions on resolutions and vouchers. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. The purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda and is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. If there are any questions on the consent agenda, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Would have been so nice if all those people stayed here. Alex Hayes in Oakhurst. I have a question about Resolution 9. 24185B, the Kramer Court pedestrian bridge. So it sounds like whatever was the winning bid is now being upped $20,000. So the mayor in previous, I don't know if it was a post or what, or a meeting, mentioned that we received a check so that the town wasn't going to pay for that. So my question is, was that check deposited, but also, so who's paying for this $19,000 again? Were the same people that were, or whoever, paid for that pedestrian bridge that I think it was like $400,000? Are they now paying the extra $20,000?
Okay.
Okay.
Next question.
And then is this the street on Lincoln? Or is that not the consent agenda? The stoplights at Lincoln?
Yeah, that's...
Is that not consent? Is that after consent?
24,188.
12? Okay. What's the timeline on that? So, a couple meetings ago when it was discussed, like, what was it, Bound, or no, it was Deal Road and whatever, and we were saying we hope that we will get one at South Lincoln at some point too. So, when is that going to be? And I have more questions later. Thanks.
Okay. Dave, I know we got the first check for the pedestrian bridge. The second, the 19.5, have we received that payment yet? Because I know they're paying for that increase in the work order.
Mayor, I'm not sure if we received the payment yet, but yes, it is going to be paid for by the group that paid the original.
Yep. And the timeline on resolution 24-188?
Can't technically answer that because it's a State Department transportation project, but my guess would probably be in the next 3 to 6 months they'll probably start, and hopefully around this time next year, maybe completion. Yep.
Okay.
I would hope. I mean, I would really like to see it in before next summer, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm with you on that. Thank you.
Sorry, I had more. Resolution 8, 24-184, authorization of the assessment for curbs, sidewalks, driveway aprons. Can someone please describe the whole sidewalk and curb cut process? There are people that got a special assessment a couple of years ago, and they are paying thousands of dollars, and they had no choice but to be assessed, and now they have to pay for sidewalks. And I think I said this at the last meeting from Miami, Florida. You never paid for your own sidewalks. That was the municipality, so this is bonkers to me. So here, some people are getting assessed, but then you can also, at another meeting, somebody said you could say no if you want. So how does one get to say no? How come some people get assessed? And if you were assessed a couple of years ago, can those people say, no thanks, I'd never wanted it in the first place, but you guys assessed me and now other people are getting the choice? So I guess that long-winded question, but hopefully you can explain it because it's very tricky to the average resident or homeowner.
Anything else? Oh, okay. Matt, can you just explain a bit of the assessment process that you know of legally so that it's spelled out correctly?
Off the cuff, it's, you know, your responsibility, the homeowner's responsibility. Lawyers don't.
I know Tom's going to say something.
The homeowner's responsible for the sidewalk and the curbing. So that some towns decide they want to go out and pay, some towns don't. Ocean Township is essentially saying we're going to fix it, and the town and the residents are going to pay for it. It's statutorily allowed. That's the way the town has chosen to do it. In terms of turning it down, not really. Not my understanding is. What?
We have
Councilor, let municipal clerk jump in here, please.
We have
I'll
a meeting
defer.
when there's going to be an assessment. The township engineer and myself send out letters to the homeowners, and at that time they can opt out if they don't want it.
So how can people opt out when a couple of years ago they couldn't and then they were assessed? That was my follow-up.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're talking about two different things. One is when there's problems with the sidewalk that need to be fixed because it's a hazard, and one is if there's a street paving, and that's when you can opt out.
Now this is part of the road program, and
Right.
Greg goes through and they have the list, and they have a meeting.
Our engineer has a grading process for the roads. He goes through the road paving projects that he wants to do as per the grading system. When he does the grading system, he works his way through to get into each quadrant of town. We do all 4 quadrants each year. For the record, we've had roughly the same amount budgeted for the roads for many years. Costs have gone up, so we've gotten less done with the amount of money that we have in the pot. I'd like to increase that amount so that we get more done, but for the most part, residents are assessed for the curbs and the sidewalks. This is how it's been done for many, many years, and this is the way it will continue for a while. Okay? Any other questions as it relates to anybody else, I should say?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to clarify. You can opt out of the sidewalk. That's where the opt-out portion is. You don't have to do the sidewalk. The curb, you have to do the curb as part of the road program, and the apron because that's connected to the curb.
And we pay for the apron.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the sidewalks as well, because it seems like, I think part of your campaign is to put more sidewalks in. Is that correct?
I'm advocating.
We're not going to get into
Yeah, no,
campaign.
okay.
That's not appropriate, Jackie.
Come on.
No,
Seriously.
I'm not talking about a campaign. I'm talking
It's-
about sidewalks. And I had read that you were talking about more sidewalks.
Okay.
My question
Again,
is,
we've got, again,
it's on the agenda.
okay, it's on the agenda and the questions were answered. We're not going to, it's not a campaign issue right
I'm not
now here.
campaigning.
Yeah.
I'm asking a question.
Come on.
If the sidewalks go in, are we then responsible to pay for them? is it an addition to our
If
taxes?
you opt in to get your sidewalks done, yes, the curbs, you don't have a choice
So on deal, so if I opt out of it, but it's
of
on
the
deal.
sidewalk piece.
If I opt out for the sidewalk piece,
Mhm.
because right now my property goes just right out to the curb, I don't need one. They don't, it doesn't have to go like right up Deal Road on my side, and then I'm gonna be responsible for paying for it.
I'm not following you. We just said the
She
curb.
She doesn't have a sidewalk today.
Today, right.
If. the
Oh,
town-
if
But
they add a
this-
sidewalk to that side,
You don't get, I'm not gonna.
What?
I'd have to find, that has to be found out from the engineer. If they decide to add a sidewalk to your side,
Yeah,
to that side of deal, I would go over that with the engineer.
okay.
Okay?
We wouldn't, I mean, we don't really need a sidewalk there, cause people can walk on the Joe Palea Park
Mhm.
side. Okay. So,
Thank you.
are we going into public comment now, or are you still doing?
We do the same way that we do it all the time. We're still going over resolutions right now. Okay, seeing no other comments, do I have a motion to close public comment on resolutions?
I'll make a motion.
And second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll
We closed public comment on the consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda. I did it a little backwards there.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. Vouchers in the amount of $9,638,603.37. Can I have someone offer?
I'll offer.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance is up for adoption. Ordinance 2479, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 12 of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Ocean 1965 entitled Traffic, Section 12-17A, Electric Bicycles and Scooters. Can I have someone open public comment on Ordinance 2479?
I would like to make a motion to open public comment on ordinance number 2479.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2479, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Alex Hayes in Oakhurst. Very happy you're doing this. There's no public here.
You're the public? Come on.
I mean, there's 4 of us. That's
Dennis,
300% of an increase compared to the last one or something. So, yay to you all. So, my question is, you approve the minutes from September 12th. I'm just going back to what I have reiterated the last few meetings. You all talked about things in the August and September workshop and public meetings about e-bikes and e-vehicles. But nobody would know what you said unless they watched the 6 hours or whatever it is online, because you only put the minutes through tonight and they're not online yet. So in the interest of transparency, thank you for getting these minutes done quicker than they've ever been done, but the public still doesn't know what you guys are talking about tonight. Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to be heard on Ordinance 2479, step up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Dennis Howlett, Holbrook Street, in Oakhurst. Yes, I have some questions about the e-bike ordinance, and I did send an email to Doctor and Jesse. I know they received it. I don't know what the response was for my comments. But one of the problems I have is it's really difficult to look up and read a 116-page agenda and try and figure out what's really going on if you're just an average dentist. Okay, I find it very difficult, and I talked to people who said, well, the e-bike thing is completely passed, it's completely done, it's already been voted on. And I got confused, I thought I read it wrong. So I went back and I read the agenda that came up on Monday, Tuesday, and kind of, I wasn't real sure, so I sent
an email to Jessie, Ms. Joseph.
Jessie, you can call me
Okay.
Jessie.
And she answered me quickly, and I understood that it really hasn't been passed yet. That was just the, let me see if I can get this straight now. That was the consideration that the ordinance is a proper thing to put together as an ordinance, and then you will vote on it later.
It was introduced.
It's an
Introduced,
introduction.
okay. And actually, even that was hard to find, because the agendas are not even in order online. They're a little bit out of order. And I skipped it the first time. I said, how did it get after January? I don't understand that, okay? So that was hard. And I did go ahead and read 116 pages of this stuff, trying to figure out what was open for public discussion and what isn't open for public discussion. I think I understand that now, but I'm typically wrong. And I looked at some of the other agendas. I looked at the agenda for the Tree Commission. And the Tree Commission has this thing, items for discussion. Tree removal, trees for Colonial Terrace, 5 or 6 lines. That's about it. And you can find that and figure out what they're going to talk about tonight. It's really hard to find out what's open for public discussion reading the agendas for the town council. I don't know if there's some way to put something in front of the overall agenda saying these are topics that might be of interest to the public. Because I'm really surprised there's only 4 of us here tonight. Because I think this is a really important topic.
May I take a swing at this one?
Take a swing.
Everything is open for public comment. Honestly, anything on the agenda, Dennis, and I know your point, but I'm going to make a counterpoint that anything on this agenda, and then some, is open for public comment.
Okay. That's not the way it sounds when the mayor reads the thing about what's open for comment and what's not open.
Different sections.
So right now you're allowed to comment on. So we have comment on ordinances individually. We have comment on consent agenda.
Mhm.
We have comment on when we do individual resolutions, and of course vouchers. Those are individual. Then at the end we open it up for anything you want to talk about.
I understand that sort of now, but this is in 116 pages of stuff that I find very difficult to read, and I've done a lot of technical reading before. So I just think the public is inhibited from attending and talking about things that they're interested in because they can't find it.
Well, if I may also try. So the agenda itself, how many? This one is 7 pages. So I get what you're saying. The whole agenda is whatever you said, 100 and some odd pages. But the gist of the agenda, and I'm not even going to count page 1, 2, and 3.
You're right.
So the resolutions are 16 resolutions, the vouchers, and then 2 ordinances that are being voted on and 4 that are being introduced. So you're basically talking 23 items. Granted, the text of each of those adds up to 100 and some odd pages. I get that. I would say somebody that's a technical reader may be interested in all 116 pages, but frankly, you are able to look at and say, okay, we're authorizing release of maintenance guarantees for 2 blocks. If you don't care about who that block is and why we're releasing a maintenance bond for Deal Development Corporation, don't read it.
I'm not arguing with you about
Okay,
that.
all right.
You've done this for years. All of you read these things all the time. And you understand what's going on.
Sorry.
Okay? And this is a
I know,
this is a compliment. You understand what's going on. That was a compliment. Okay. But the average person, if they happen to go on the website, it's difficult to find the agendas. If you think you're looking for an agenda and you don't realize that it's not going to come up until 2 days before the meeting, and you don't have another day to look at it, you can't find this stuff. It's very difficult, Rob.
I would love to have a conversation with you and figure out
no.
how, seriously, how we could do it. Because I mean, I try to get it, I personally try to get it out there. We all are open to answering questions of people. Jesse posts it on the website. I will agree, this week it was out of order. It went January, October. I don't know.
The website does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Not always, but this time it does do it often, but not always. So I don't know that we can possibly change the format of the agenda, but happy to have a conversation with you.
Okay. Maybe there could be some sort of basic preamble to explain what's in the following agenda and what might be of interest. Okay, if there was 1 page of that. There's probably a law against it.
Let's talk.
Thank you,
Now,
Dennis.
the police are gone, so we can talk about anything. No, we can't. Re-recording this. Now, my question right now to begin is,
I sent in some changes or things that I thought were unclear in this ordinance. Were they considered, or do I bring them up now?
You can bring them up now.
I should bring it up now, okay. Now I have to fumble through things. And these are very, very minor things. This is not earth-shaking stuff. Maybe one or two is. On the first line of page 79, it's on the second page of the ordinance. It's 4 pages long. Okay? Which reads, every person riding an electric bike or electric scooter within the Township of Ocean Park shall be granted. That kind of chops it off. Ocean Park.
Ocean Park shall be granted.
What is Ocean Park?
The Township of Ocean Parks, it's probably
Yeah.
parks.
It should be parks, but later on, you
Probably
talk
parks.
about, I sent it to Township Parks and Playgrounds. That's in page 81, just above 1217A.4. That seems to be a better way to describe what you're looking at. Ocean Township Parks and Playgrounds.
Yeah, they left that off.
Okay.
The descriptors there.
Yep.
Parks and playgrounds should
It's-
also
it's
be up.
up here.
Which way? There. Parks.
The descriptors
Parks
there.
and playgrounds. Oh, well, parks and playgrounds.
It just says park.
Playgrounds is not really.
But it doesn't. The point is, I guess the sentence doesn't, it's not complete.
That's
Probably
that's
should.
my
Just 'cause we
comment.
got an S.
I'm not arguing
We
with
can add,
you.
we
Okay.
can add that, that's
Yeah.
not, that's not a material
Yeah,
change.
it's the descriptors there.
Under definitions, you have owner, you have owner, and you describe, means any company, blah, 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 of an electric bicycle or electric scooter. User means any person who's operating an electric scooter. What happened to bike?
Wait, where's the end?
He's under definitions and
Oh, we went back.
oh, here you go.
We can add or bicycle, or electric bicycle.
I lost him.
Yeah,
It would just,
also.
it would just match. It'd be-
Page 95 on the bottom where it says a person operating an electric scooter should say or bicycle.
Oh,
Or electric bicycle.
That can be changed.
electric bicycle, it just says scooter. Good catch.
Okay, on, in 1217A.3, there is a, first one says helmet requirements. Okay, it says operators, doesn't say anything about passengers. Do passengers need to ride? You have
There's
a
no
helmet?
passengers allowed on these bicycles at all.
Okay,
Nobody should be riding on the back of any of them.
okay, that's good. Is that in here?
It should be in there.
Okay.
If it's not, it's a law.
I'm sorry?
If it's not, it's a law.
Remember the New
Statute.
Jersey motor.
Statute, okay.
Yeah, the New Jersey laws supersede anything that we put in here, but no, there are no passengers.
Okay, there shouldn't be passengers. yes.
No.
Okay, I'm saying there shouldn't be passengers.
That's how
but there
people
are.
get hurt.
Frequent,
Yep.
okay. Just as an anecdote, today, before, as I was walking in the Playa Park, as I do very often, I'm walking on the dirt path, going back to off, getting out of the park. It's extremely quiet. I think I hear a little rustle. I turn around, and there's a young man, and he was a man, maybe 10 feet behind me on an adult bike, going probably only 15 miles an hour at this time because he slowed down because of me holding his helmet out this way and whizzed by me as I.
Electric or pedal?
Electric. Well, he was using the electric thing, for sure. He
Well,
wasn't pedaling.
We haven't enacted our ordinance yet.
Yeah, I know.
But it's coming.
I'm just saying, this is one of the reasons why this is very important to me.
It's important to me.
Okay. And the other day was I was walking in the park, and this is, I don't know if you, how familiar you are with the park, but where the softball fields are, there's a restroom right there.
Mhm.
As I'm walking towards there, a young man goes by me, he's probably 10 or 12, and he was moving pretty good. He had a helmet on, a nice looking bike, and it was all electric at the time. Flies by me, and starts doing wheelies from the soccer into the softball field, comes back, makes a nice figure eight, and this guy was pretty good too. I gotta tell you, there was some skill involved here. Goes behind the restrooms and does the 2 hills, gets a little bit of air, comes around and goes the other way. I don't know if you've noticed, that path has been completely worn into the ground now. There's 2 sections right behind there, which is a perfect place for them to jump bikes.
Well, that's why we did all this.
Good.
We're
believe you, I'm 100% for this.
We're acutely aware of these problems. I talked to the chief today. He concurred with everything that was in the ordinance. We've got to start somewhere, but we've had 2 fatalities in Ocean Township this year alone, and there was fatalities up in North Jersey recently. These bikes are a problem, and we know it, and we just got to do the best we can.
And you are.
But the second part of this, I did talk to the chief about. We're going to be doing a public relations campaign coming from the police department. There's going to be signage. We're going to have to let the public know because it's not going to change overnight as much as we'd like it to. So there will be a lot of information that's going to go out there, and they're going to use various channels to get it out there. So
That's good.
So that's coming. So hold on for that.
Particularly with the signage. And the signage
Absolutely.
is going to,
Signage.
It's going to be difficult to actually word the signs, but I think you can do it.
Well, we'll have to figure out the verbiage, and the second thing is we're going to have to, there's going to be some enforcement here. So it's we got to deal with it.
We'll refer them to the agenda online. Sorry, just kidding.
I'm not that mad at him.
Thank you, Dennis.
So that's all important to me. And I also want to emphasize that as much as I am against any motorized vehicle, by the way, skateboards were never addressed. And skateboards do come with electric stuff too.
I think that was part of the. We'll have to take a look at the verbiage, but it should be anything that's whether it's a skateboard, unicycle, any of these things.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it might be.
It's in the definitions.
It's in the definition.
Skateboards
I'm
and
pretty sure I
skates?
saw it.
Electric scooter means scooter with a floorboard. So that's the skateboard. That could be stood upon. So that's,
I didn't include like the old segways. I don't think anybody ever uses them anymore. But
No segways.
So that's all there. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not against having somebody who is handicapped or has a special need.
Of course not.
Whatever they need.
No, we understand that part. Absolutely. I'm not denying anybody who needs disability issues.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Dennis.
Motion to close public portion, public comment on ordinance 2479.
I would like to move to close the public portion on ordinance number 2479.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2479.
I would like to move to adopt ordinance number 2479 and publish according to law.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2479 passes. Ordinance 2480, a bond ordinance providing for various roadway drainage improvements, 2 electric vehicle parking spaces, and roadway striping appropriating $3,500,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,242,854 in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof. Can someone please open public discussion on ordinance 2480?
I move to open public discussion on ordinance 2480.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 2480, please step up to the microphone. State your name and address for the record.
Alex Hayes Oakhurst, I promise I'm not coming up for each one, but these two were in order. I have 2480 in front of me, and unless I'm missing it, I could not find where the 2 electric vehicle parking spaces are going to be, and will they be coming with charging stations. I was very excited to plug in my new electric vehicle tonight, but somebody already had their car in it. So if the town could have more than one.
There's 2.
We have 2.
One on either side.
So both were
And
taken.
they have to do a little walking.
So where is that? The 2 new parking spaces going, and will there be electric charging?
Dave, where are those being placed?
Mayor, I don't know. I'm just looking at it. It says set improvements to Poplar Road.
Yep.
But it doesn't say what exact location.
Okay. We can find that out.
Is it going to be on Poplar?
If you send me an email, I can forward it on to the township engineer and get you a proper answer.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public comment on ordinance 2480?
I move to close public comment on ordinance 2480.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Action on ordinance 2480.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2480 and publish according to law.
Second.
Second.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2480 passes. Introductions to ordinances starting with 2481, which is an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled General Police Regulations, Section 3-2, Loitering. Can someone please introduce ordinance 2481?
I move to open the public hearing on ordinance.
No.
Introduce it.
Introduce it.
I move to introduce ordinance number 2481.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2482, which that will have its public hearing on the 14th of November. Ordinance 2482, which is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2338, entitled An Ordinance Fixing Salaries and Compensation of Certain Offices, Positions, and Employees in the Township of Ocean. Can someone introduce ordinance 2482?
I move to introduce ordinance number 2482.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, and that too will have its public hearing on November 14th. Ordinance 2483, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing ordinance 2343, which is entitled An Ordinance Amending the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, relating to personnel policies, practices, and procedures. Can someone please introduce ordinance 2483?
I move to introduce ordinance number 2483.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yep.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that too will have its public hearing on November 14th. Ordinance 2484, which is a bond ordinance providing for various improvements, appropriating $550,000, therefore authorizing the issuance of $523,500 in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof and directing the special assessment of the cost thereof. Can someone please introduce ordinance 2484?
I move to introduce ordinance number 2484.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. That too will have its public hearing on November 14th. Public comment. Anyone wishing to be heard on public comment? Again, there is a time limit of 5 minutes. You can step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you can state anything that's germane to the Township of Ocean.
No, I guess would you talk about this, that we were just, with this money that's coming,
What's that?
the sum of $550,000? Where's that money coming from?
Which?
550, for
What
the
are we
sum,
talking
for
about?
improvements. But the bond, the ordinance.
That's we'll have its
2484.
public hearing next month.
So we can't discuss it.
Yeah, that's next month.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, I won't talk about the campaign, but on the campaign trail, we acquire different information, and I wanted to run something by you. Some time ago, when we were all fighting for the preservation of the corner that's now developed, the 32 acres, there was an opportunity that was put on that we could vote for an open space tax. And everybody unanimously, because we were also really concerned about the loss of mature tree canopy in Ocean Township, we all voted yes to have a certain amount of tax, increased, more tax that we'd be paying, to cover, that would be, create a fund. It's technically called the Open Space Land Purchase Tax Trust Fund. And it's come to my attention very recently while I've been on the trail, knocking on doors, that monies are being taken out of that fund right now, being used not for preservation, we're not buying land, but it's being used for many different expenses here in town, which doesn't seem to be correct. So I'd like you to, I have the lights that were lit, which look beautiful by the library this Christmas, has a cost of $54,470, which came out of our open space fund. that money was supposed to buy land. We never said we would be taxed for holiday lights. The flags look beautiful.
Good.
The flags that really did look very nice on Deal Road. They have a cost of $8,714, which also came out of our land fund. There's a $40,000 200 pickup truck that also came out of that fund. $586,232 for a fabric shade cover over a dugout in Larkin Field. Now these are all, obviously these are expenses. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with us having these expenses, but they shouldn't be coming out of our open space tax. If we do have an opportunity to purchase land, we're going to have a deficit in our fund here for all of these expenses. And that was a lot for the flags that unfortunately didn't stay up. Those flags look nice. Maybe you could also, after this, explain why they had to come down since we made such an investment. Then it also, $400,000 came out for going towards the football stadium. I don't know if it was used because I was sitting in that. $400,000 down payment on a $2 million youth football stadium. This is a fake number?
It's not being used.
Oh, it's not being used now. That's been, okay. So these were planned or they were used? I mean, the Christmas lights were certainly used.
The field was not used.
Okay, okay. And but that was, I thought that they were hung by volunteers. It was $54,000 just for the light bulbs.
Any other questions? And I'll go
and the
through all
electric, I suppose. Well, I can go on and on. There are a number of things here that were listed that came out of that fund. I guess just in general, why are we using that fund for township expenses?
Okay. I'm going to go through all your questions this way we can, because you have a time limit.
So, no, this is my main concern.
That's the only question?
Yeah.
Okay. The CFO determines where the money comes from out of the budget. It's called an open space trust fund. They can utilize that open space trust fund money for areas that are within the open space that we have. I don't deem the rules, I don't actually make them up. That came from the state of New Jersey, which they checked into to see if it was okay to use that money, and the CFO decided that.
But we didn't tell
If
the
you have-
we didn't tell the residents that. I mean, the residents,
Well, he's
in
the
all good faith.
he's the CFO. He doesn't go and tell everybody where money comes out of which budgets. I mean,
No, but
I'm
it
not
was-
the CFO.
But it was illegal. It was on our it was on our legal ballot where we voted.
Mhm.
And I think if you were going to change that and start to use money
We
that
didn't change it. Sorry, I got to stop. We didn't change anything. The mayor's correct. The money that was taken out of that was legally able to be taken out of it. You may disagree.
it's not for land.
It's not for land.
But that's when we
How-
voted
how-
yes.
No, careful. Careful how you say things, because the vote clearly defined what you were voting for.
Okay.
So, open space, it doesn't specifically say and only say for the purchase of land.
It says open space land purchase. That's pretty
What are you
specific.
looking at?
It's the name of it was what was on the agenda at the time. I'm sorry, the agenda on the ballot. It was what was on.
Any
Open
question?
space land purchase tax trust fund.
I wasn't here at the time, but you must be talking about the referendum, because there would have to be a referendum
Well,
for
it was
this.
a referendum. It was on our
Open
ballot.
Space Trust Fund.
Right.
And then usually there's a description of what that means in the referendum back then.
It was to purchase land.
It was-
If it became available.
I'm just saying that's where we need to be looking.
But but generally speaking, it's the purchase of land for open space as well as the upkeep and recreation and parks and beautification of the open space. So it's not, the open space trust fund, that is part of the taxes, is not limited to purchasing land. It
At
is
the
for,
time.
I
You might be maybe fuzzying the rules a little bit. At the time, it was a tax that it was going to be a fund. So we'd all agreed to put tax money into that so we could buy a portion of it, because when that land was available on the corner, we wanted to preserve part of it, if not all of it, at least the part that would be on Deal Road, connecting, where the park is, and blanketing us from what's going on there. And it was always meant, we didn't have the money to buy it, was what we were told, and everybody agreed to take a certain percentage of our income towards our taxes to buy land when it would become available. It never spoke about other expenses in town. These are other town expenses that, I mean, certainly we should have, for holiday lights, there should be another type of fund for that.
I mean, I can tell you that the Open Space Trust Fund, which was the referendum establishing it, the town, it had to establish it. That's where the taxes.
For open land purchase.
For open space trust, I understand what you're reading. I'm telling you that the referendum was to allow for the town to pay into an open space trust fund. The trust fund was to be used by the town for open space, which includes recreation, parks, playgrounds, upkeep, beautification, for the open space portions. It is not limited to just the purchase of land. I don't know what you're referencing in terms of, there was never any, because it wouldn't be under that definition, simply to purchase land.
Well, I really wish I took a photograph of that ballot that day, because I don't have it in front of me, and maybe somebody did, and I will look into that.
And by the way, we did purchase the Kepwell property with the Open Space Trust Fund. You do know that, right?
We bought a house.
No. We bought a beautiful
you didn't buy the house
piece.
that's there?
Well, it's part of the property, but you
I know,
realize
but
we
that's
preserved.
that's not open space.
Hold on, I'm speaking. 7 acres were preserved. That could have been clear cut and condominiums put on there. Anything could have been put on there. So we did use the money for the right reasons. Maybe you don't live on that side of the town.
I'm not arguing
but
that.
But it was a very good move on our behalf.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought we probably paid more for it because we bought a house. It wasn't exactly open space as we were imagining.
But that's your opinion.
No, I understand that.
And we have to look at it from a benefit of what's going to benefit the township. What is benefiting our residents? And frankly, we don't have a lot of parks on the wayside side part of town. It was actually a good move.
It's lovely, and it's a memorial to the child.
So, but it is. But that's what the money was used for, and I think we used it appropriately.
I didn't mention that tonight.
But I know what you're saying. But the rules,
what I'm talking about is.
Jack, you're not going to listen. It's obvious.
What do you mean not going to listen?
We're telling you what the story is, but you're still going on and on. What do you want?
Well, I am entitled to my public comment.
Oh
yes.
my God.
Oh, please.
And
you have
continue.
to. You have to be a little cooler than
somebody else step up to the microphone, Jackie. Time's up. It's been
all right,
9
but you
minutes.
Didn't,
we
so
have a.
I guess I'd like to close by saying I would appreciate it if you stopped dipping into our land trust for other expenses, because we would like to have something left in there for a possible purchase of open space to keep our township as green and environmentally in check with climate change and everything else. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Hayes Oakhurst. I'm just going to go down my list of questions, so I'm going to be kind of fast because I don't want to be interrupted, or my time to be out, rather. The e-bike action, awesome. Glad you passed that. So does that mean it goes into effect tonight?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay, you can answer me now. But actually, don't answer me now because then you're taking up my time. Here is a comment. Spanish, Haitian, Portuguese transcriptions of documents. I know you can go onto the town website and click a button and that translate things, but it certainly doesn't translate. We have 30% of our residents in this town are non-English speaking, Hispanic, Spanish speaking. So we need to do better about only having everything that we do in English. Earlier when Jackie, when she first started, she was talking about Ordinance 2484, and it's quite rude for this council to say we can't discuss that. Because she said, well, she literally said, wait, we can't talk about this? And the response was, no, it's going to be discussed next month. That is so incredibly dismissive to a resident, and the raising of the voices tonight, and that's rude, uncalled for, and unbecoming of public officials. I cannot believe you guys are raising your voices at people. It's mind-blowing. I'll continue. The tax sale today. 140 or so, what are they called? Properties, 140 properties. Some were a bunch of like $300, $600. There were ones as high as $21,000, $30,000. These are people who have not paid their taxes, their property taxes. Why is it taking this much for you guys to get paid? One of them, 7 Princeton Court, owes $21,000. There was a $30,000 one. I'd like it if somebody could maybe take a look at some of the $600 ones and the $300, because they're almost all sewer related. And I did speak with somebody in the Wanamassa section of town, and they're like, we've been trying to pay for weeks, but the site will not let us go on and pay. So probably a third, if not more, were $600, and they were all sewer related. So that strikes me as maybe there's something wrong with the payment system, because there are people that totally want to pay but physically couldn't. Second, another question. Is Marty Arbus the council of record, or is it you? Okay, so when I don't mean to say you, like I'm pointing to you, Mr. Good. It is you then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when I sent a legal question to you, does Mr. Arbus have any interaction with how you respond? Like, he's not a counsel of record on your firm, is he? Like, does he weigh in on, if I send you something, does he weigh in?
We're gonna.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Oh, wait, don't take away. Okay,
So, yeah.
so that's a question. And then I think this is my last one. Hopefully, I'm within the town or the 5-minute limit here. Cindy Lane, shared services. Awesome that you are looking into shared services with other municipalities and the Board of Ed. I think doing like custodial work, Board of Ed custodians come here cleaning. Great idea. I'm glad that was, I think, already approved. But 2 members of this council have mentioned a joint agreement on Cindy Lane between DPW and the Board of Ed, to which I Oprah'd any discussion about Cindy Lane and DPW to this town and council and also the school board. And I got in my Oprah response 0 emails about anything related to Cindy Lane. So I'm just wondering if this is a done deal, if Cindy Lane is going to be some property on Cindy Lane that somebody's going to buy, meaning the town or the Board of Ed, and you guys are going to have a joint agreement. Where are we getting any money to pay for something like that? And where do we stand on a Cindy Lane joint deal with the Board of Ed? I think that's it. Okay, thanks.
Okay, let me start off. E-bikes, I believe 20 days after
Correct.
voting. As for translation of documents, we can look into that as well. The introduction with no public comment, we do the public comment the night of the ordinance hearing. That's when the public comment happens. We can look into the payment system. I spoke to, I believe, probably the same resident in Wanamassa that had an issue with her tax bill, having a hard time trying to pay the sewer bill after the tax bill. So we'll look into the payment system. Marty Arbus is a partner of Matt Goods. Therefore, their firm is the attorney of record right now. Matt being our lead attorney right now. And as for Cindy Lane, you won't see anything in writing or any agreement because there is no agreement with the Board of Ed. These are discussions, but there's the property has some environmental issues because it's been, deemed potentially a dump at some point. So we're trying to find out through our environmental specialists if it's land that can be utilized, how much of it can be utilized, and what it can be utilized for. Once we find out how much of the land can be utilized, then we can have those discussions potentially with the Board of Education. They've indicated that there could potentially be some interest with us, but there's nothing set in stone and there's no formal discussions yet. Thank you. Dennis, you got something?
Yes, first thing is just a comment.
Yep.
I didn't know much about the use of the open space fund for anything but open space. And I applaud the open space fund being used to buy Kepwell Springs. That's a great addition to the town. I'm a little surprised. I'm very surprised that it would be used for anything else. And it sounds to me, just in my opinion, that you're splitting hairs, and you might be technically correct, but in my opinion, that goes against what the spirit of the ordinance was. It just, that's my comment. I don't know, I'm not going any farther with that. I am involved a little bit with things in town, and I have trouble getting in touch with the council. It is difficult to get in touch with you all. If you go on the website as an uninitiated user, if you look for the council members, you get a nice bio and you get some information about them. But where you find that, you don't find the contact information. You have to go back and start looking for individuals to find the contact information for whatever their phone number is or an email. It would be much easier for people to find things if it was easier to get in contact for the way people would actually search. Like I search for Rob Achera, and I don't get the phone number or the text, email there. I got to go sneak up on it from some other place. Now, when I get the phone number and I give Mr. Achera a call, I'm just using you as an example, Rob, my phone stays silent for a long time. And I'm honored by a call from the mayor saying, I got this message.
Your message came through to my phone.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's even more amazing that you answered me.
So Dennis, I think we're going to look into that.
Yeah.
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
He forwarded it, right?
Thanks, Rob.
I saw you coming.
Yes, I don't know if there's somebody. Is there somebody who's in complete charge of the website? Because the website is way more better than it used to be. There's no question about that. There's a lot more information there. But if an uninitiated user tries to use it, I think you should have some, I can't think of the proper term for it, user experience of when somebody's trying to look for things that they can actually find them. And I'd be willing to put my 10 cents in inflation. So.
You are 100% right on the access,
Yeah.
and I think that's an easy fix. Tracy can Tracy could probably just put our phone numbers and emails under our bios. That's easy.
Okay.
And Tracy has done an awesome job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that somebody I could talk to? Is it?
Yeah, you can call Tracy straight away.
Yeah, call her right now. She's in Italy.
Okay.
My
So she's probably awake.
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks,
very much.
Dennis. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
It's basically.